Hello, my name is Tim Bailey, and I'm with Red Date Technology, head of our global sales. Today, I'm honored to host this panel to discuss NFTs and the future of NFTs, and I have two distinguished panelists here today, Jonathan Padilla and Yifan He, and I'd like to hand it over to them to do some brief introductions, self-introductions, and then we'll get started. Jonathan?
Tim, thank you for having me, Yifan. Always great to speak. My name is Jonathan Padilla. I am the CEO and co-founder of Snickerdoodle Labs. We're an NFT-focused company that's looking at the future of non-fungible tokens and the potential they have to look at data infrastructure globally. Briefly, my background was former global head of blockchain strategy at PayPal, led many efforts there in buy, sell, hold of crypto, and also a co-founder of Stanford's Future of Digital Currency Initiative. In the past, I've worked in the U.S. government, from the White House to local government in California, and kind of sit at the intersection of traditional finance, technology, and government. And I think those are the skill sets really required to think innovatively and forward thinking on blockchain.
Great. Yifan?
My name is Yifan He. I'm the CEO and the founder of Red Day Technology. And Red Day is one of the founding members of blockchain-based service network, BISN. So today it's my honor to talk with Jonathan here to about the NFT, which is totally new and most people don't even know that about. So today we try to explain that a little bit.
Great. Well, so to start with, NFT stands for non-fungible tokens, and you may have heard in the news about NFTs in relation to a work of digital art that sold earlier this year for $69 million US, or CryptoPunk profile pictures that are trading for millions of dollars. At its core, an NFT is a unit of data that's stored on a digital ledger or blockchain and can represent easily reproducible assets such as photographs or songs as unique items. But let's talk a little bit more, though, about the real world implications of NFTs in the future. So, Jonathan, I gave a very kind of textbook description of NFTs. Maybe you can elaborate more on what NFTs are, how they work, and how they represent value.
I think you gave a great kind of overall explanation. The way I would break it down for people here in this conversation is to focus on what NFTs, really what they're actually doing. And the way to think about it is, if things like Bitcoin or fungible token, they're interchangeable. DeFi brought around this concept of financial Legos, constructing base types of systems. NFTs are really content Legos. I mean, they can apply to any type of content that needs to be unique, that needs to have guaranteed provenance. And the really neat thing about this is that, frankly, it transcends the digital and has much more implication for real world application. And that's what gets it really, really exciting. When I think about that, NFTs can be anything from a piece of art, an NBA Top Shot. It could be, but I think that's a very reactionary. It's almost kind of frankly, an unnuanced perspective on the technology suite. NFTs really need to be kind of seen as the true potential to frankly be the bridge to tokenize many of the aspects of real life. It could be something like a land record, a credential, a license, a school report. It could be an MPG for a song. It could be a coupon receipt. The enterprise and commercial applications that bridge the digital and physical are nearly limitless. They're frankly bound only by our imagination and the willingness for consumers to kind of accept these things as being secure and trustworthy. So think about it as a Lego. It can be composed, combined with others, and build truly remarkable things when given the right architecture.
Why? So again, back to what we're reading in the news. Why are some NFTs so expensive, and how can that value be justified?
So it's really kind of a conversation in art. The piece you referenced was a piece of art produced by an artist named People. He's been probably the most prominent of all the NFT artists over the course of the past year and a half. And it's really no different from how you value, say, the Mona Lisa. If you were to try to put a value on the Mona Lisa, it'd probably be worth several $100 million. There's also a number of art historians and collectors who would probably say, given how seminal that piece of art is, it's perhaps priceless. I mean, it's a national treasure to the people and government of France, to the point where you could have a world-class artist recreate with great amount of specificity that same exact piece that Leonardo created a number of centuries ago. But because we know that the Mona Lisa in there in the Louvre is the actual Mona Lisa, there's something about that provenance and story that is, it's something that makes people want to basically say, why does it matter if you pay $100,000 for an item for Christie's when you could go to any of the supermarkets or high-end stores and buy a reproduction for maybe a 10th or 20th of the price? It comes down to what the consumer, what that kind of eye of the beholder is. And I'm not going to be I'm not bold enough or crazy enough to say I understand modern art, but I do know that the provenance and showing that something is the original and was intended to be such as a unique item is what really carries the day for that kind of evaluation of art.
Good. Well, Yifan, I'm going to shift over to you. And maybe I'd like you guys to talk a little bit about the NFT related aspects of your respective businesses for each of you. But maybe Yifan, you could start.
Okay. First, the NFT is a tool, it's a technology. So when you buy an NFT, you are not buying the NFT itself, you're buying the asset or stuff that linked to the NFT. So NFT more like a certificate, ownership certificate, but it's technically it's very secure. You have your private key. You can prove that NFT belongs to you, and you can also technically transfer that to other people. So it's if we make an example, it's like a paper. Okay, an NFT like a blank paper. Then I write on the paper, say, my computer belongs to you. I sign my signature, I put my stamp on, and then you hold this, and you can, prove I gave you my computer to you. So NFT is that paper. So you can put any ownership document into it. But I think the most important is all the governments need to accept NFT as a basic tool to prove ownership, because all the assets we have, there's two types of assets. One type of asset is you don't register them in government system, like my computer, like my table. But the major assets we have is all registered with government system, like our house, our car, our security account, banking account, everything is KYC and is registered with government. That's how the government protect you. If you go to court, if there's dispute, the card, someone says it's theirs, you go to the government system and check that. So I think in next 10 years, probably 5 years, more government will use NFT to change their centralized system to a decentralized system, use NFT to prove, that, to prove the ownership of your assets. That need to go through the legislation process. But once it's done, it will make the process much efficient, to prove you have the asset or you transfer the asset, then you just transfer that token NFT to other people. Then other people basically means they own that asset. So that actually makes the selling and buying assets worldwide much more efficient. Then based on that, all the financial institutions can build a lot of financial product around that kind of efficiency. That's how our world become better. So that's why, NFT is really important technology. But the major thing need to happen is all the government change their system, all the asset related system to NFT based. I think that will definitely happen in next 10 years.
But one important point back to your analogy you made with the paper and signing, this is my computer, is it's not reproducible. It's unique, right? So someone can't, to use your analogy, take that piece of paper and copy it. There's only one, and it's that verification that needs to be understood.
Yeah.
So, Jonathan, can you talk a little bit about what you're doing with the technology? What Snickerdoodle is doing?
Yeah, Snickerdoodle very simply came from this idea that NFTs were the whole kind of venture in entrepreneurship space around this has been super reactionary. Everyone is building a marketplace. Everybody is trying to mint things of art, of collectibles from sports. That's interesting. Don't get me wrong. But I do think there's going to come a bubble when you can only pay so much for a JPEG of Muhammad Ali. I mean, there's limits of what I think people will do in reason. And so looking at the space, and my team has been looking broadly at this from the Stanford perspective for about 2 years, we kind of realized that NFTs represented, frankly, an evolution of identifying pieces of information. We think about what Ifan has just talked about. I think he's 100% right in terms of how the government could take a look and say, you own this computer, you own whatever asset that is now it's economically easy enough and viable enough to attach some sense of ownership. But we came to this kind of conclusion that as this litany of commercial and enterprise applications continues, the profiles on individuals would be immense. We're looking at a world where there will be literally trillions upon trillions of NFTs out there for things like your car, for things that are tickets to movie theaters or airplanes or train tickets. These type of applications will be living in digital wallets. They will be attached to the individual's ID, and they'll create an immense opportunity to kind of take a look at the profiles of individuals. If I know, for example, Tim, that you're a fan of Heineken beer, that you like going to badminton matches in Hong Kong, that you fly Cathay Pacific, and that you have a hankering for dumplings at 2:00 in the morning, I can create a pretty accurate profile of who you are. And I can do a number of things from the analytics to the advertising to curate experiences to you. And frankly, kind of make sure that the best things get to you from this kind of advertising perspective. Now, this is where Snickerdoodle, I think, differs from a lot of the existing infrastructure. I like to talk about this narrative of Web 1, Web 2, Web 3. If you're familiar with Star Wars, Web 1 was very much kind of a new hope. Everything was brand new and exciting. Web 2, which we're currently in the waning days of, is The Empire Strikes Back. This dream of the internet went from, frankly, Luke Skywalker and Han Solo into Darth Vader and the Emperor on Hoth taking over the rebels. And so we're in this area where oligarchs such as Google and Facebook have kind of taken this dream of the internet, and it's been transmogrified into a nightmare where individuals no longer have any sway or ability to protect and control their data. Enter Web 3, and I think we're in the waning days of Web 2, first days of Web 3. It's a complete paradigm shift. It's the return of the Jedi. And we like to think of Snickerdoodle as providing the tool set and the infrastructure to put individuals first, for them to have self-sovereign identity, for them to control their data, and for them, with the concept of data unions and this type of infrastructure, change the balance and help recreate that balance of the individual versus the corporation. So if we think of this NFT as a cookie coupled with data privacy, that's really what we're doing. It's putting individuals in control of their data, giving them the infrastructure to monetize it, to analyze it, and to curate it in a way that's never been done before, and hopefully in a way that rebalances how the internet should be.
Got it. Great. I like the Star Wars analogy. We won't get into the Phantom Menace and the later stages there. But what are some of the other, maybe a question to Yifan? We've talked about different applications of NFTs. What are some of the other supporting technologies that need to be in place in order to help NFTs go mainstream?
Yeah, I totally agree with what JP just said. Okay, that's actually right now everything is centralized system. Facebook, you log in, everything, all your data, all your password, everything belongs to Facebook. And all your asset is controlled by the government. It's in their database. If someone changes the database, you don't even legally be protected, and you have no idea what happened. So right now, NFT with also blockchain technology, it's really give the power of the control the personal data to you, including digital currency. Okay, including digital currency, like when the digital currency you have in the wallet, you control it. Right now, your money in the bank. Okay, trust me, 90% of your money is become loan give to other companies. not in your bank account. Okay, your money is not controlled by you. So this is actually the major point JP just said. Okay, so to make that NFT is just one of the technology. Then we need the privacy computing. Really because the data need to be exchanged and computed to generate results. Then how we protect our data is even some centralized system, some services, they use our data, they couldn't see the data, but they can still get the result they need and to do the business process. So that's one thing. And the decentralized storage, that's also another thing. All our token, you cannot, even for the publishing could be gone one day. Then you need to have kind of universal decentralized storage. All the data centers go down because some big event, your asset, your information is still protected. So those are the new technology we all talk about, but slowly they will, merge together to become a new fundamental basics of the internet. So that's also the beliefs of BSN, why we're even doing the BSN.
Got it. So Yifan, recently the Chinese government enacted some policies about cryptocurrencies. How do you think that this will affect the development of NFTs in China?
First, cryptocurrency is the application. Okay, so which means when there's a crackdown is on that specific application. Okay, the reason is cryptocurrency is considered a security, unregistered, unregulated security in China. For any security, the government need to enforce fair trading. Okay, if they cannot enforce that, then there's nothing they can do. They have to stop that. For example, even in the US, if you use inside information to trade cryptocurrency, you break the law and you can be arrested. There are some cases. So that's why. But it has nothing to do with blockchain technology and the fundamental technologies. NFT is a technology. It's not an application. So that's why there's from all the industry information, we can see the Chinese government actually pretty much friendly to the NFT technology. So I think there's no any impact on the NFT side because of the crackdown on the crypto currency in China. So it should be not related. So but if you use NFT to do some illegal things. For example, you use the NFT to represent 1 ounce drug, and you sell that and transfer that drug physically, then you break the law. So it's really depends on how you use the technology to do what. I always make an example when I speak about cryptocurrency. Blockchain is like steel making. You can legally making steel in China, but if you use steel to manufacture a gun, it's illegal. So the gun will be shut down, but the steel making is welcome because you can make a lot of legal things with steel. So that's basically steel is the blockchain technology, the NFT technology. The gun is the application. So
yes. I think that's a really important distinction between cryptocurrency as an application and NFT and blockchain as technologies. That's important. So if someone is new to NFTs or blockchain technology, wants to learn more, wants to get involved with NFTs and even get hands-on, how would you recommend they do that? Maybe first to Jonathan.
It's a great question. I think there's a number of great resources online that are free and for individuals to use at this point. I'm a firm believer that the best content out in the blockchain space is being produced by universities, by academics who really kind of get a sense for what the core technology is. To Yvonne's point, blockchain is blockchain, crypto is crypto. People oftentimes will say they're the same thing, but they're very, very different. If you want to kind of get a sense of what blockchain is, I would say the first thing you should do is read that kind of famous Satoshi white paper. And I think doing the hard work of learning and understanding the cryptography and the kind of true vision behind that's the first thing. Programs like blockchain at Berkeley, one of my former guys at PayPal, used to be running that. Liam, phenomenal human being. They have a completely free, several week-long course that people can take that gives them a crash course in primer and in digital currency and blockchain. I think doing those types of things and not being seduced necessarily by the trading aspects, which could be kind of frankly dangerous if you don't know what you're doing, is the right way to approach the space. And I think that coupled with earnest experimentation, if you want to get into understanding smart contracts and NFTs, and if you're a programmer, you should learn Solidity. It's those types of technical skill-based things that will make you, frankly, ready to understand everything that's behind these white papers, and frankly, give you an opportunity to participate and have your kind of opinions have weight and merit behind them. You have to have that technical understanding to be of substance in this space.
Yifan?
First, actually, that's what exactly BSN is doing. If you want to learn blockchain technology, get on, BSN. If you are an experienced developer, you should build your own first chain or access a public chain in half hour. So that should be that easy. That's actually the BSN's mission. Also, for NFT, I think it's a little bit you need to understand what blockchain technology is, then move on to NFT. Then, but for NFT, it's also our job to try to make developers' life easier. So we are actually building something called the NFT maker. Okay, so you don't even need programming experience. You can just fill a form, then you can generate your own NFT on any chain you want. So, but also we will provide APIs. Then you can, if you are experienced, you can just use APIs to generate millions of NFT, on any chain you want. So, but if you want, we actually will release this NFT maker in the first quarter of next year. But before that, if you want to understand blockchain technology, you can also go to our BSN Hanggang portal. Okay, because BSN is the infrastructure, we don't really serve any user. We provide APIs to all the websites, so the websites can become, we call BSN portal. So then our first English portal outside China is set up by our local partner called the DJX Note. This company, it's the Hanggang portal is already up running, and then you guys can log in and very quickly to learn blockchain technology. And in 3 months, probably 3 to 4 months, you can also access the Hanggang portal to use the NFT maker. Okay.
Okay, great. So any developer can go up to digixnode.io and create an account and log in and start experiencing the technology. Great. Very good. Well, I want to thank Jonathan and Yifan both for being here at this masterclass and educating the viewers about NFTs. And so, thank you for that, and look forward to talking to you all again next time.
Thank you for your time, Tim.